makes that show go.
Okay. Super Sunday, Super Coffee from Sharon.
Yes,
Super
yes.
Sunday with Shannon. That's right.
I keep him in line.
There you
That's
go.
right. You make the show go. I know. I watch and I hear. Yep. It wouldn't happen without you. He's very blessed to have you in his life.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Oh, yes,
you.
he is.
Thank you.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
he is.
he is. And we appreciate it. We appreciate because that's a lot of effort to pre-record like you did. But the music, the people, the interviews were just energizing. And
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
now, Kim, I used to watch a lot of cricket in South
Thanks for a
Africa,
lovely show.
well, thank you.
and I always wanted to visit South Africa, but now there are a lot of new reasons to visit South Africa.
Yes.
Yes, you have to come. They need to visit South Africa. 100%.
Yes.
Especially and Zach, you got to come with, mate. You gotta come record here, and we got to do some stuff, mate.
We're
Hey,
going to do an
I'd be
IBM
more than
TV
happy to.
tour. We're
I'd be
going to do
more
an
than happy.
IBM TV tour, and we're going to start in one place, and we're all going to go and just visit
Yeah.
everybody.
I'd
And
be more than happy.
that's right. And we're gonna sing
Absolutely.
songs. We're gonna perform concerts. We're gonna talk about uniting the world to make it a better place. And we did it all here. And I don't. And the thing is we're not getting paid to do this. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
There's somebody, Mark.
Hello, Mark. How you doing, mate?
Hello.
I've been watching you post.
I'm doing good.
See,
Oh, there
that's
we
one of our
go.
Brother
biggest
Prophet,
fans,
my man
right?
Zach was doing his thing.
Turn it up
Brother
for a
Prophet, my man
smile.
Zach was doing his thing. And then, we've got a lot of things going on. And I know he was down there in the heart of things yesterday. I did not make it down, but he was in the heart making some serious reports on Facebook and things that we were having protests in support of a lot of things going on with the George Floyd. And Zach made me real proud as a street reporter.
Hey, I love doing that. I don't mind. The only reason I didn't say IBM TV is because I didn't have permission to say it. Otherwise, I would have said it.
I want to tell you what people already know because Sasha loves this. He goes, I'm just going to call a spade a spade. You know, he knows that we're freedom of speech, right? We're not about gagging people. We're about the truth. And that's what you were doing was spreading the truth. You were right in the middle of it. It was weird that you did that, but when somebody turned on the news on our TV set, which I normally don't allow in my house, we kind of glanced at it. They were showing a violent thing going on. And I'm like, that's really going on?
That's the
And you were showing the peaceful part. So, you know, and that's what the news doesn't show people. So we are about the happy, not always the happy. There's bad things happen. We're about the truth. And the voice of it. But anyway, we got a great funk show getting ready to come on.
We're going to do a little bit of something. Yeah. We got something popping. So I'm excited about that. IBM TV doing what they do, and I'm going to do what I do a little bit. So, but yeah, yesterday was very emotional only because Dad, actually walked, years ago, and I was walking in his footsteps, so to speak. And, you could feel the history. And you could also feel the togetherness, which is what they don't want to show, which why I was so happy you guys allowed that to go through, because if we don't show that, I told people it was like Woodstock, they did away with things like that because we were together, and that's what they don't want. And see, there's enough of us now that believe in love and peace, and I'm getting goosebumps, but
I am too.
We're going to you can feel it, right? We're going to overcome this with exactly what we're doing now on IBM TV. What you guys set up, the platform, it'll spread.
I agree. I agree.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to do some music, whatever it takes, to
well,
walk
the
back.
thing is we have to join together and pull together, and that's what unites us. And this is what I said earlier. It's not our color that should unite us; it's our actions, right?
Yeah,
and that's what I love about this is that we're not doing this because of our race or our color or our religion. We're doing it because we care, and it's our actions that should unite us or divide us. The intent of the actions. You have to be careful because sometimes people have a real good intent. So you really have to look at the intent of the actions, right? So I would say the intent of actions is what should cause man to divide from each other, but not purely not because of the, and we had this talk yesterday, which I think it was yesterday, and it might be why they pulled our video down. We were having a conversation about the fact that there are rulers in place that keep us divided. But if I go to China and I go to the community in the heart of China, there are people just like you and me.
Yep.
That don't they would care about you. If I fell down, they would help me up and fix my wounds. Okay. Yeah. If I were hungry, they would feed me and not try to hurt me. So it's the leaders that divide us. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. And that, Ankit, I really think that might be why that video, that part of so one of sections of our video got pulled down yesterday. Wow. And I realized now during this conversation, because we were technically going through trying to figure out what did we do? What did we say wrong? And because I've always tried to be just very honest and open. And, that's something the leaders don't want.
They don't want that. That's right. That's right.
And you divide and conquer. And if you really look at the United States, we are probably the most divided country in the world because every state has its own individual rules. I could literally, I don't like using this, but it's the only one I can think of right now is the gun law, right? Mm-hmm. The gun law is one way in this state. I could drive into another state because the carry permit and stuff like that. But in another state, it could be illegal and I could be arrested. And in another state, and the same with driving laws, right? The driving laws are different in every state. So I could be arrested in another state for doing something that's legal in this state. Yeah. And the only thing that does is it pays our attorneys. That's, and this is probably why so
and that's all it does. We could even go into like the hemp laws and things of that nature, which also vary from state to state and are continuing to vary from state to state. So definitely, you're right that it's definitely states that are dividing us. I've got a good friend of mine.
I don't understand that even hemp and CBD is against the law in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's still against the law in North Carolina, even though they are selling it in North Carolina.
It will be difficult in future years as well because once we have 5G and a lot of technologies, people 1% of the population of the world, they will track all of us, whatever we are doing every second, whatever we are talking, whatever we are doing, what kind of activities, because they wanted to track us and they wanted to control us, and that is what the censorship and the monitoring is going on. And that's why you don't have a platform where you speak without filters. You have to have those filters. Then only you are. So you have to be politically correct if you have to converse with someone, because otherwise you will put them down or put them. I mean, you can.
What other platform do you see where they've had global doctors all getting on and talking openly about their findings in this disease and sharing, this is what's working for us? And then what's been interesting is I've noticed when doctors come back, they talk about, now we're trying this. So, and you don't see, all you see are finger pointing right now at the political top layers, right? And the WHO and the CDC. You're not seeing anybody trying to solve problems. And so one of the things that I have been honored is the doctors and and a lot of people don't know the status of some of the doctors that have been on our show are phenomenal. But one of the things that was a criteria for a lot of these doctors to even appear on our show, some of their first questions were, "You're not paid for by Big Pharma, are you?" Yeah. And I go, "No, we're not paid at all." But
again, we wish we were paid.
Exactly.
That would be nice. But the problem is they didn't want affiliated with being voiced by Big Pharma. They did not want their voices affiliated as if Big Pharma paid for their opinions and their input. And that made me think about, wow, that's a pretty powerful statement, right? And we're not Pharma coming on the show and talking and doing interviews with them and helping them build their own shows, but we're not allowing people to pay us to tell us what to say. And I will tell you this, because of my my experience in media, something I found interesting is I would go to press conferences and you would be instructed of what kind of questions you could or could not say in that press conference, what they would allow and restrict. And I would find that odd, given that we were a country of free speech and how it was controlled. So, you know, I'm always leery when I watch a press conference. And I noticed in the COVID in the very beginning, I was like, gosh, these anchor people sound really stupid. The reporters are asking the dumbest questions. And then I remembered, oh yeah, they can't ask the real smart questions right now.
Yeah.
They're being told, and that's why there's one that the reporter kept the clip where you see one of the leaders getting in her face. Who are you? Why would you ask that kind of question? Because he was mad because she was asking questions that she was probably told she couldn't ask.
Yeah.
We have a comment from Tammany, and she said that thank you guys. We love bringing the show to life for our children.
Tammy.
Yeah, she's in there.
Hi, Tammy.
Yeah.
But we should get our funk show going here in a minute.
Yeah.
And
We all right. We good. We could just roll through. I'm ready. Y'all ready? Whatever, you know.
Whenever. And then, you know, we've got, all day long. And then, of course, tomorrow, Mark has his show. And we're trying something new with Mark, just like we did with Grant today. We're trying a new platform with Mark. So everybody, you know, this is what I like about everyone with IBM TV is that we're resilient. We don't give up, and we keep trying just to make all of this work. And when it's safe to get back out into the real world again, we're all going to have one big party together. And
I'm looking forward to that big party. We're gonna have Grant come by and get that music going along with
absolutely.
Zach, Alex,
I just want to.
So I can't wait for that party.
Yeah, I just want to say one little quick thing before we all go. And I think this is my opinion. And you live in America, you live in India, we all live in South Africa, we live in different parts of the world. We see different things in the media. We see American media and we see the media slating Trump. We see the media slating Boris Johnson or whoever our leaders are. It doesn't matter. That's the beautiful thing about RBM TV. We real people. So we talking to each other. We're different races, different cultures, different countries. And this is what keeps this thing real here. I hate watching CNN. I hate watching Sky News. I hate watching everything because everything is taken out of perspective. This
and looped.
IBM TV is perspective because here we all just wonderful, normal people, and we're having a great time. And it doesn't matter where we come from. We're the same people. That's the biggest problem with the media today. The mainstream media just divides us. It actually divides us. But IBM TV will never divide us.
No, it's united. But thank you so much. Thank you. And let's keep this going. And what's amazing to me is that you said something that it divides us. The other media is intended to, and they are. What I learned in my journey is that unless you bleed, you don't lead. So they're there to specifically get people upset. But I had to quit watching the news. My doctors were telling me that it was just making me sick, and it was. Yeah. And I had to quit reading the newspapers because it is one perspective. Exactly. We're not one perspective.
Absolutely, 100%.
We're not one perspective.
That's the most beautiful. That's the most beautiful thing about IBM TV. Exactly. Now I've got to meet Zach. I've got to meet Mark. I've got to meet Ankit. I've got to meet Kimberly. And like I say, we're from different parts of the world, but. Yeah. We've got the same thing in common. We just want peace and we want love and we want music and we want and that you don't get from the mainstream media. So you know what? We don't need them. I can't wait to hear Zach's stuff. I can't wait to hear Mark's show tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing about this and you know what? We are normal people spread across the globe. And I think that is the most beautiful thing.
And that's interesting you say that because like tomorrow, even during the daytime, we got normal, everyday economic people coming on the show. I have learned more from them than I have in any CNN or any show that says that they're about economics. We sit and we listen and talk about the real problems and how we can get past them. And I've got people who have been emailing me lists of questions to ask tomorrow if David Kay or Jeff Brown come back on. And I'm like, how cool is that? That
Yeah.
People want.
In fact, I'll tell you. In fact, Kim, you remember someone said that they watched one of our medical shows with doctors, and they were also watching a show on CNN with the doctor show, and simultaneously both the shows are running at the same point of time, and they liked IBM TV show more than what CNN was producing, because we are real doctors talking about real stuff around the world, and they were just covering one perspective from a doctor, and that is also a scripted show. So, and we don't have any filters on IBM TV.
See, what we got to really get into one day, and it's deep, is because the 7 families that actually rule the whole world, they're the ones that control everything. So they control what you see. And I, like you, Kim, I have internet now because I need it for this show. I just got it the other day. Mark can tell you, I didn't even have TV in my house. You know what I mean? If my kids came over, they had to use their tablets. But what they bring into your home, they don't call it TV programming for nothing. Right? It's
right. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you watch something, and I told Mark this, there's enough news every day for them not to loop anything. Okay, we see it once, but when they constantly loop it, the sheep are following the loop and being programmed. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, no, but real quick, one more thing on that programming is the advertising. How much do you see of McDonald's being crammed down our kids' throats?
Mhm.
Or, and I hate saying it, Coca-Cola. I do like Coca-Colas, but I don't drink them all the time because they are addictive. But nothing is promoted. Yeah, it's the only thing that calms my stomach. But they don't, and I don't have it with me right now, but I'm always have a bowl of fruit in here, right? But they don't promote eating the blueberries, eating the fruit. Why aren't they advertising gorgeous fruit and somebody eating it going, man, that tasted good?
Yep.
They don't do that. Why?
100%.
Because McDonald's,
you know what?
Because we don't have any brand ambassadors of blueberries.
I got
and
something
apples
for you,
all
Kim.
this time.
I offer my bowl every day to Ankit. I do. I have a big bowl of blueberries.
I got grapes.
And apples. I mean, but and I always say,
So don't you think we should have a brand ambassadors of all these fruits? Because we have Coca-Cola brand ambassador, we have McDonald's, a lot of actors and people, they are brand ambassadors and they get a lot of money out of it.
oh yeah, brand ambassador of fruits. Let's do it. Let's be really different. Let's do brand ambassadors of fruit. The banana always had a brand ambassador. Remember that?
Yeah, the guy.
Yeah.
Chiquita Banana.
Yeah,
Remember?
yes.
And you always bought a banana, whether you ate the bunch or not. They said the banana was the #1 purchased fruit.
Wow.
Yeah. And so maybe we should brand the fruit and get a brand ambassador.
See, now
Absolutely. Listen up. So before we sign off, guys, Zach, you and I have to do a little funk version of "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Let's
we
do
have
it
to
now.
do that for the viewers.
We can do it right now.
Well, I haven't got my stuff ready, but I'm saying between the two of us, we'll work something out. Get Ankit and Kimberly to get us together, and we'll do one of those things.
Just email me all the stuff or how I can get in touch with you.
Okay, so we got to do one of those.
Yes.
Mark, can't wait to see your show tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ankit, Kimberly, thank you so much, man. It was just wonderful being with you guys. Zach, give me a big high five there, mate. There you go, brother. And Mark, there you go.
All right. We're going to let Mark.
Let's do like this.
Oh, that one. Okay. But thank you so much, guys. Absolutely. Listen, we are the future. IBM TV is the future.
Yes, we are.
That's it. That's who we are. That's
the
who we are.
interesting thing, just
Super
real quick,
Sunday,
man.
folks.
I know you got to go, Grant.
How can
But
I
the real
get
interesting thing has been that I was having a conversation actually with some friends of mine that are journalists here in the area, and they would actually say that there's not a true media here, and I actually agree with them because this is the real media. More people are taking to the media, doing it on platforms like this and reporting on things. Like I said, Zach did earlier. I've seen a good buddy of mine who is also of Indian descent, Shri, that does a lot of daily reporting from the New York area and things of that nature. So I think that we're seeing true people that are like grassroots folks and things of that nature. And actually, I think one of the things that they said was real interesting was a friend of mine who's a professor at Central said that he had one of the producers come to his class and he asked how many of them watched the news. And I want to say it was either maybe one student out of 30, or it might have even been none. But very few of our youth are actually falling into the trap, because that's one of the things I've got to commend folks that are the age of Zach's kids, the age of my nephews who are like 11 and 12, as well as the age of folks that are like in their early 20s. These folks are not falling for the okie doke. A lot of folks fell for the okie doke back in the 60s and the 70s, but I think we've got a new generation that is not necessarily falling for that. They want to make some true change, and that's one of the things that I was really proud to see among the crowd that Zach showed. Yeah, there were some people in the crowd that were probably closer to my age, definitely closer to Zach's age, and he's got me by a couple of years, but not a lot. But I saw a few there, but most of what I saw were people in their 20s and 30s, and they were making it very clear that they were going to stand up for justice, no matter what kind of justice it was. They didn't want to hear about differences of sexuality. They didn't want to hear about differences of orientation. They didn't want to hear about differences of race or class. They just wanted to live in what some people might consider a utopian kind of universe. But I'm one that believes that it can happen, and if it's going to happen, it's going to be led by our youth. And I got, we're in hard times. This is a pandemic era. This is an era of racial divides and other kind of divides. But from what I've seen of our youth, I've actually got a great deal of hope in what is going to come to this society and things of that nature. So I actually think that we're going to see a turnaround around the world, and it's going to be youth driven. I mean, it's been youth driven for a while. We saw it with Brexit in London. We saw it with some of the things that went on 10 or 15 years ago throughout the country. But I think it's still continue to be youth led. 58 on July 1st. So I'm hoping this, as I've jokingly told Zach, I'm going for 200. I think I've told you that too as well, Kimberly. So don't know that I'll make it. Nobody's ever made it except for those biblical characters. And I'm not doing anything in terms of health, in terms of doctor visits and stuff like that to actually make it. But I'm still going to set that as a mental goal. So if I make it to 200, then I'll see it. But, if I go by the average lifespan of most people, I may not see that change that I'm hoping will come and that I have faith will be coming. So that's just my little bit of a soapbox on Zach's show. Sorry for that.
Let's do it.
This is the show.
This is the show. Well, but we need to sign off and let Zach start the funk.
Yeah,
you got it.
I can't wait, Zach. My man, you go for it. Kimberly and Kit, Mark.
Thank you.
Great seeing you.